Hey, I wanted to share with you a thought that I had this morning. And it was a quick thought that I'm going to kind of expand on, hopefully, and it'll make sense. But the thought that I have is pertaining to our homeschool, maybe even pertaining to your homeschool. So think about this as you are navigating what is important to your children in your homeschool. As you know, Miles is 7 years old. He's almost 8, and he has autism spectrum disorder, sensory processing disorder, and apraxia, and some other things that are probably undiagnosed at this point. He's just not old enough to be tested for those and diagnosed. So we have come a long, long way from where we used to be. I should say he has come a long, long way because he is very determined, and we work hard, and we focus on the skills that are going to serve him now and for in the future. And you know that I talk a lot about that if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram. So I'm all about value, and that's the idea that I had on my mind this morning is what may be valuable to someone else in their homeschool may not even be valuable at all. It may not have any value to your homeschool. So I was thinking about what is valuable to Miles, and I was comparing that. I was thinking about some things that I have heard through the years, or maybe has even been spoken to me specifically. And so, nobody is wrong in their thinking. I do want to express that because that thinking may be applied to another situation and it be valuable to that person or that family. So it takes diligence, and it takes gleaning and wisdom to know what to apply and what to really just toss away that is not going to serve your child now and for in the future. So one of those things, are you ready? Because this is what I realized this morning when Miles, a situation came up, and I thought, and this is what drove this thought and drove me to speak to you today. He often has my phone, okay? And through the years, I have heard many, doctors, therapists say that, electronics are so bad. Some of them are more strong opinion about it than others. But we have found a good balance in our homeschool with electronics. And electronics have absolutely served Miles tremendously. Electronics have been of tremendous value to him. So if someone has said, or I have read online or something that even a doctor, so this is the importance of honing in and being in control, and that knowledge that you are empowered to do what is best for your family. And really you need to be in tune with what God is calling you to do, and how he is calling you to play that out and be a steward of your homeschool. So doctors say, limit screen time. Some of them are very adamantly against screen time at all. And there's nothing wrong with that. They have compiled their knowledge based on whatever it is that they're gleaning from. So maybe they're gleaning their information strictly from a medical book. I don't know. I'm not going to place blame on anyone. But I do want to say with confidence, because now I can say it with confidence, that electronics have served Miles tremendously well, as opposed to years ago when we first started out and I was hearing these things. I was very apprehensive and insecure when I would hear them, because to me it was a confusing idea, because even at that time when Miles was using, he had an actual Fire tablet, and he had a Monster Words app that was helping him learn how to speak. So when people were saying, or I was reading, what have you, that electronics are bad, I was seeing the exact opposite in our homeschool. So, you have to be diligent in knowing and praying with what to glean for your own children. And I believe I don't homeschool my older son. He actually goes to public school, and he's typical. He's what you would call neurotypical. So with a special needs homeschool, I would imagine it would be especially true to be for the teacher that would have to be very diligent in knowing what to glean and what to toss out. So this morning, Miles had my phone, and I have an iPhone. So if you're familiar with that, the iPhone has a built-in calendar, and we use that calendar a lot. Like I utilize that for everything that we're doing. So his therapies are today. He has 2 therapies. One is Miss Kaylee, that's first, and then we have Miss Miller is second. I've got both of those on there. And he has learned how to use my calendar, and that helps him know the date. That helps him with the time management skills, which is so very important for once they become an adult, and those life skills. So it has a notification you can set up where it notifies you a certain amount ahead of time before that actual appointment time. So we see Miss Kaylee at 8:30, and I have it set up to where it's an hour before. So at 7:30, there's a notification that dings and pops across the screen, and it says Miss Kaylee, speech therapy. And it has the time. So not only is he learning about scheduling and time management, he's learning about time in general and math, because you get to look at the clock and say, okay, we've got 1 more hour. Okay, this is 30 minutes. So that is a huge deal for us. What is not of value with that? And because things are going more and more to technology for those types of things, there is, to me, in my mind, and like I said, apply this, you glean from this for your own homeschool as you see fit, or just toss it completely out the window. But for our homeschool, these technological advances and utilities have been of tremendous value, and they will continue to be because of the way our world is leaning, and it has been since they came out with the computer. So it's advanced more and more. It seems like it's quicker now. We're becoming quicker with our advancements in this area. So to me, the writing is on the wall that once he becomes an adult, it's going to be even more technology focused regarding life things. So, constantly thinking about where Miles is going to be at when he's 20 years old. And if he's going to be in a work setting, what is going to be offered to him as tools to be able to do his job. More than likely, it's not going to be a pad of paper and a pencil or a pen. More than likely, it's going to be an electronic device where he has to type in whatever it is that he's doing. And I can see that firsthand in our community at different jobs, at different, facilities. Even my husband's job, it doesn't have a pen and pad. It requires either him on a computer typing in things, or he has a handheld device, or they're using their cell phones for whatever. They're texting in group messages and different things like that. So you really have to be aware of the world around you and what's going to serve your child. Maybe you have totally different goals for your child, and that's completely fine. Maybe your child has the capacity to have several different goals that you want them to learn. Let's take cursive writing, for example. I know that is very highly regarded to a lot of people, but guess what? For me, it's not. It's not, because how is that going to serve Miles appropriately? Not only are we more technologically driven in society, it's going to become more and more let's say I focus a lot of time and energy on him learning how to write in cursive. I will lose all of that time and energy on that instead of focusing on, let's say, learning the value of quarters, dimes, nickels, and pennies, and the bills even. Because I have that on my mind, because that's what we're getting ready to really focus a lot of our time and energy on. So we have to really think and be prepared and pray to which direction we're going. So like I said, your child may have the capacity to learn all these different things, even a manual clock like the face clocks. That's something I've thought about teaching him, and I may incorporate it. I'm not sure, because I mean, everything is just digital. And so I don't know if that's going to be a waste of time or not. You know, I know a lot of people talk about that. There was a lot of talk about learning that type of, I forget what it's called. The word escapes me. Type it in the comments so we can know. What is the face clock called? Put it in the comments. I'll just keep going back to manual clock for some reason. I know it's called something else. But anyway, so is that going to serve him? Should we spend time and energy, because in our homeschool, we have to focus a lot more time and energy on one concept compared to maybe a neurotypical homeschool that has the capacity to kind of move quicker through different subjects and different concepts. So what is valuable to your homeschool? What is valuable to your child? Be careful who you're listening to. One person that you can always trust is the Lord. Pray and ask God to give you wisdom, because He will, because the Bible says so. And so as you're praying and you're learning what best fits your child, you will over time gain more and more confidence, because I have done that. I was so insecure when we first started, because I felt like, I was not qualified, but who better than a mom that is with her child all day that knows them the best than to, that knows what they need, knows where their biggest depravity is, that we need to focus on building different skills for life. We're equipping them for life. Every mom that homeschools is equipping their child for life through whatever holds value to them for their child. So I just wanted to share that with you, because when he showed me and he told me and he spoke, there was a time when Miles couldn't even speak. He could only scream and slam cabinet doors. He couldn't point. He couldn't shake his head yes or no. So for him to have my phone and have that notification pop up for Miss Kaylee at 8:30, and him knowing, and we're working on how much longer, and I say an hour, one more hour, and he'll say 1 hour, and I say yeah, and he says okay, and he is learning, even instinctively, what an hour of time feels like in real time. I've noticed that he's very excellent at predicting that and knowing, like, okay, it's how much longer, like even down to 5-minute increments, because sometimes that's how much he, wants to go somewhere. Like, let's say he wants to go to a splash pad, and I say, okay, in 1 more hour, we're going to leave. And he will literally come to me and ask me how much longer, like in 5-minute increments, sometimes 10. So, he's really honing in on that skill, and that's a tremendous skill, because that's like executive function, planning, things like that. So that's valuable to us. I hope this has helped, and have a great day.